Welcome to the show, it's time to dive in, where stories unfold and journeys begin. Les is here to guide you through. In this world there's always something new. Feel the beat, the rhythm in the air. Laugh and learn, we got a vibe to share. Tune in, turn up, don't miss out. Les is made, that's what it's all about. Let's get started, light and bright. Les is made, it's your spotlight. Here we go, don't be late. Join the fun and celebrate.
I know I haven't uploaded an episode in about, I don't know, I'll say a month or so, but went on a journey. I went to Florida for spring break, I guess, more like a little vacation, did some photography, and ran into my good old friend Krystal Gypsy, the resident poet and guest speaker on my podcast on many occasions. I got to hang out with her, we did some shooting with my camera, photography humor there, I know, is bad. Anyways, we got to sit down, talked about a few subjects, caught up with her, and just all around, just catching up, and actually seeing her in real life is really cool, and I'm glad I got to see her, so I hope you enjoy our leisure conversation during the spring break of 2025. Hey everyone, it's Les of the Les Made podcast. I'm actually doing an in-person interview with the one and only Krystal Gypsy over here. I love this woman. So, she's joining us again.
Hey, welcome to Tampa spring break, baby, 2025.
Yeah, I was just about to say 2025 spring break here.
It's 2025.
Yeah, I know, we're getting old. But anyway, okay, I'm getting old, you're getting younger.
There you go, good job.
Now, you're an English teacher still, right?
Yes.
And you have to grade papers. The whole thing now, AI, Chat CPT. Do you see them actually using that to try to make papers, or how do you address that?
Okay, so Chat AI GPT is, I will say, is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's positive because I'm able to make tests faster.
Really?
Like when I make a midterm, I could just chat in a midterm and it puts a whole organized test together for high school students.
Oh, wow.
Year. On that note, other note, students are starting to do a few things, okay? So I worked a few jobs, okay?
Yeah.
So I worked a job where I can't really discuss what kind of job it was, but let's just say that I was grading papers for a while, and they were starting to test for AI because some of the kids were turning in AI related stuff, so they had to go up to date with it because AI is going faster than teachers and people who grade tests and stuff can catch up with.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I can't go too much into detail, but let's just say they're trying to play catch up with it because it's going faster than we can keep up with it. However, on the college side of things, they're putting in new programs that try to catch it. Because in the past, they had programs that would catch people who would steal work online.
Yeah, plagiarism or whatever.
Yeah, because in the early 2000s, once upon a time, when you were converting everything to computer, it was stealing people's work online because you were Googling stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough that people use things like math, calculators and stuff. You could go into certain things and you can get answers without even trying. And I have witnessed some of the kids in the classroom when they're taking tests online doing that. There's no brain work left. So going back to Chat GPT, it's good if you're trying to do prompts as a teacher.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I can write something in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I can explain it because I've got the education and the knowledge behind it. Whereas if the kids, if they're not using their brain, it's you know. And even when you use ChatGPT, the problem with ChatGPT is sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you have to go back and really read what you're doing. So if some of the kids are turning it in and they're not at least trying to attempt to kind of come up with their own mind frame and turn it in, it doesn't make any sense.
I can tell you this. I used ChatGPT to help me write the Halloween horror story I did my first voiceover with. But it only used it as a prompt, and I had to kind of go in there and rewrite it. But it really helped with, like, get it started. And I kind of went in there and put in my own flair because I don't understand. You can tell, like, it's just a very straight-laced thing, and I used it as a tool. So I got the prompt, but then I edited the hell out of it to make it be, you know, how I would write.
That's the important part, is editing it. Like, if you're going to use it, which I won't recommend you use it unless you're doing it for, like, creative purposes. You don't want to use it in school because they are catching up with that. They are catching that now because you have to use your own brain work in school. However, like, if you're doing, like, creativity, just make sure you're reading what you're working on, because I can't tell you how many people use the brainless, like, don't even try, like, they don't even attempt to, you know. And it's about as bad when back in the day, remember the 90s and the early 2000s when you were in college. I don't know if you were in college at the time.
I was in college in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, where you would buy a paper off of somebody.
Oh, yeah, that someone wrote, like, maybe, like, last year for, like, the same class or whatever.
But they would sell it to different students.
Yeah.
So people started seeing that the kids, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Where you're not even paying attention to how many people turn in that same paper. It's almost the same thing, only now. Let's put it this way. Laziness, it doesn't matter what, no matter what, whether it's technology or old school, there's going to be people that are lazy and they don't want to do the work.
No, I like what you said. It's like, if you're doing it for creative purposes, read what's at it through, because that's what I was doing. I was trying to, and then I'm just like, it's not making any sense to me. So I was like, let me rework it, rewrite it a little bit, and it came back, and it sounded.
That's how you know when students are turning in work that's not their own, because it doesn't make sense because they didn't. So it's like it's like kind of putting a theme together, but then it goes off and it babbles.
yes. So that's cool that you picked that up.
Yeah.
And they, just like me, you know, we talk a lot about mental health and everything. I'm starting to change my life a little bit, just because, you know, I'm going from looking from a job into doing a career.
Right.
And I'm not ready to talk about that yet, but it's something that will potentially change my life, and it's going to be good. It's going to take me a year, but for my family and for everything, it's going to be good. And been out of high school 20 years, you know. I don't know if it's, like, been hitting you as, like, you're changing different things, like some of your hobbies or whatever might be a little different.
I go to sleep at 10 o'clock now.
I've been going to sleep.
I have to take a nap. If I'm going to go out and party, I have to take a nap before I go out. That's one thing. And 20 years. So, this year, my son's brother is graduating high school.
Oh, wow.
And it's making me feel old because I have a 20-year reunion coming up.
Me too.
And I swear I just went to my 10-year reunion 5 years ago. I
didn't even go to my 10-year reunion. This is why I want to go so bad.
You should go.
I am. I'm gonna bring the wife. We're gonna make a whole day out of it. We'll be back here in Florida, so
oh, nice.
We'll be able to.
When is your reunion? What school did you graduate from?
I went to Sickles High School, and it's sometime in August. Like I said, I've been kind of just, you know, I was up there for the winter, and a lot of things going on with finding a job and the fall, and then stuff with the wife. I had to take care of her and getting her good, and I just needed a break, just like a mental break from everything.
Yeah, mental health, I've been doing the same thing. Like, I was just saying that today, that this whole spring break that I've been on with the students off with my son and stuff, I basically isolated myself. I rarely talk to anybody. This is like the first big conversation I've had, aside from one or two friends I've talked to, and I didn't even talk to them till yesterday.
Wait, you have friends still after all these years? It's funny.
One or two.
You know, cause
one or two left.
the reason why I'm bringing this up at saying friends is because I had a group of friends in Maine. We were so close that we would do birthdays together and holidays and stuff. And then because of, let's just say, difference of opinion on certain topics or whatever, they just stopped being my friend. Like, that was all it was about.
Gotcha.
And they just stopped talking to me altogether. Like, just dead dropped me. And we were, like I said, we were really close for a long time. And it's like, I'm not even supposed to be upset about that, you know, but I am. But I kind of just...
It can be emotional. I dropped a friend last year. I had a friend who has gained a lot of weight over the years. Oh. And now that we're not friends anymore, I see she's losing weight, and I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
But it sucks that all these years... There was a green-eyed monster to the fact that I was a lot smaller than she was. Or I was doing the modeling thing, or I was doing this and that. And even after I had a kid, I thought when I gained a little weight that it wouldn't be a problem anymore. But I was noticing that she was not the same person she was 10, 15 years ago as a friend. And she was a high school friend. So I don't have any high school friends left. I have maybe one that lives out of state. But I dropped her last year because I booked a vacation for us to go to Colorado, and she didn't contribute to it. And I paid for the thing. I think she helped out with the hotel, like she paid $25 a month for the hotel. But we got there, and the laws were different as far as like we didn't have a credit card for a rental car. So I had booked a rental car, paid the $200 for the rental car.
Oh God.
Got there, and they're like, we don't take a debit card. Didn't get a refund. Had to wait for that when I got back to Florida. So we were 3 hours into the mountains from the airport. So I called an Uber. That was $200 to get there. We stayed there for the weekend, got the Uber back, and I told her, I said, get the Uber on the way back. I got the Uber there, just get the Uber back. We'll stay at the hotel. Everything we want to do is across the street. I just want to be in the Rocky Mountains anyway. Yeah. And when the time came, she didn't have any money, quote unquote. So, and she hit up my mom for money. She doesn't know that she hit up my mom for money. So, I got silent. And then even this year, I dropped another friend. And that person, you know when it's time to go, when they keep doing the same thing they did in their 20s. And they try to say that you're you're crazy or you're easy or whatever on social media. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not about this life no more. I was. So what ends up happening is that you end up dropping people. So sometimes, and it's emotional because you've known these people a long time.
The thing is that what get me from my situation is, like I said at the end, but they were close. They were like my family up there, and they just dropped me and then say nothing about it. They don't even talk to me. They just ghost, and then they don't want to talk like adults or whatever. And it's just like, wow. So I meant that little to you, even though we did all these adventures and stuff together. You know what I mean?
I always say it like this, and not to bring up religion or crazy.
I am definitely a practicing Christian man. So bring up religion, whatever religion.
I always say this. God puts somebody in your life for a season or a reason. So when the season's done, you just got to keep rolling with punches, you know? And it sucks because right now, lately, I feel like my circle has gotten smaller and smaller, but my stress has gotten less and less because and when I show that I'm willing to lose somebody to make sure that my life stays in order, it's funny how sometimes people come back when you show that you don't need them, and sometimes they don't. But if God is telling you that like they're not supposed to be in your life anymore, then it's time to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And
what they say about this throughout this whole time, whatever of everything, I've been getting closer with the wife, you know, and I think that's the good thing, you know.
That's important.
And I enjoy it. She became more and more like my partner in crime, and you know my hangout buddy or whatever. But she's also not much of an introvert to like hang out with people like
outside
I am.
of.
Yeah. Just me and like, you know, she'll go see family and stuff like that, which is fine. I'm not saying she's not she does go out and do things, but I like to go out and hang out with people. So I'm hitting up that acquaintances becoming better, and a lot of my friends, we just stay in my little town in Maine, and we just hang out there. You know, there's a couple things to do, not much, but we just hang out at the house and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as we get older, our vibes change of what we like to do.
Yeah, and you know, I've been up here, I've hung out with old friends I haven't seen in years, whatever, been enjoying it, but then other friends are like, oh, you want to do this and do that? I'm like, bro, your life you're an amazing person, and what you do is amazing, whatever, but like, your lifestyle and my lifestyle are different, so it's like, I want to come, but like, you guys are up at nighttime and stuff. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to like chill out and go to bed, you know, by like 10 o'clock, like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
very rare. Like I said, I'll go out on a Friday night and I'll hang out till like 3 in the morning, once or twice a month. But versus like what it used to be is so different.
I don't even do that. The longest I've stayed out with a friend recently was one of my phone fighting boys. He was like, yeah, let's go hit up a hookah lounge. We were there for like 2 hours. And I've known him for a while, but we never had a good one-on-one. And like, I just have more love for that dude. He's like really cool, you know?
Funny.
Yeah.
I have one friend that when we get together, we stay out all night.
Oh, God.
We do. We will stay out. Or
not doing anything wrong. You're just like,
no, we'll just be, but it's not a club thing. It's like we'll go to do poetry event. And then we'll leave the poetry event. We'll sneak out early. We'll be like, you ready to go? Like, yeah. And then we'll be on the beach just talking until the sun comes up. And it's pretty awesome. And it makes me feel, and that's that one friend that just makes me feel like we're still in our 20s.
Right,
it's nice because we have that poetry thing in common. So
I'm going to find new friends. I'm going to try new hot.
I've been trying to find mommy friends for Mia and Miles.
That's got to be hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
But I mean, you know, just in reference, we're getting older, we're changing, and you know, if friends aren't changing with us, and we're trying, and they don't want to come join you, it's not wrong to be pissed off. You just let them go.
Wait till you guys have kids, if you do have kids, and that change. Then again, it changes again because then you got to think about your kids.
Always.
Yeah.
I think I have one right now. I have a dog. He acts like a freaking toddler. But that's a whole nother story.
Right.
But I know this is like super quick or whatever, but it's just cool. I think the conversation's going good. Thank you. Tell them where we can find you on social media.
You can find me at Krystal Oriano, TikTok. You can find me at Krystal D Pride 86 Instagram, Krystal Oriano on Facebook, and I think that's my stuff because I don't think I have a Twitter anymore. But if you do look at my Twitter, I think it's Krystal Oriano, but I post on that like once a year.
And then then she has her Krystal Gypsy OF. I'm kidding. I think she might have a link tree. We'll make a link tree for all those socials. Do you have one?
I don't. I got to get my life together.
Yeah, but link tree would be good. But she told you where to find her at. I think it's like Krystal Gypsy Poetry. You can find all her stuff there.
Yep. And then Amazon, you can buy my books at Krystal Oriano. Krystal Gypsy Oriano. You can type it in Google, but it'll pop up. You'll find everything about me.
And that's where you find her.
This podcast.
Yeah, and you know where to find me at or whatever. So thanks for hanging out with me for a second. I'll see you again later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on all platforms. You can either look me up by my name, Leslie Madewell, or my photography company, Madewell Art Photography. I know I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now known as X. If you want to buy my book, it is on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, check out the book section, type in my name, Leslie Madewell, and my book, Pathway to Vengeance, will pop up. And I will be leaving a link in the show notes in every episode. And if you want to leave me a review or comment on any of the platforms that you listen to podcasts, please do that. I will appreciate it. And I hope I see you on the next episode.